Hello, dear fans and subscribers. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Cricket Happenings with your host Ram. And what a cricket happening show this is going to be. West Indies have gone on to create history. Who would have contemplated that West Indies would be going on to win this particular test match against Bangladesh, considering that they were a second string team that were playing and they didn't have, and they had three players actually making their debuts. And here comes a test debutant by the name. Remember this name, everybody, and Bangladesh especially. Name Kyle Mayers. What a knock from Kyle Mayers. I mean, he really has stunned Bangladesh today by taking the West Indians to victory, as West Indians made history, as Kyle Mayers on his test debut scored 210 not out to take the West Indies to victory in the first test match against Bangladesh. As nobody would have contemplated this, especially considering the fact that you were playing on the final day, the ball was turning, there's a lot of wear and tear on the pitch, and here comes this man. As I said, Bangladesh is going to remember this name for quite a long time. Kyle Mayers for West Indies has created history. Scoring 210 on test debut. If I look at it, the West Indian players in the past have scored a century or a double century on debut. George Headley of the West Indies was the first one to do so against England. Then we had Gordon Greenidge. Who would not forget the 1984 test match between West Indies and England, where Gordon Greenidge played that, hit that scorching century, 214 not out against England 84. And Kyle Mayers as John Bandwagon become the third West Indian to score a double century on test debut. And there can't be a better thing than this, that for West Indies have started off the new year with an absolute bang here by winning the first test match against Bangladesh by 3 wickets. And there are also only a few players who have actually done it on test debut. Nathan Hassel of New Zealand against England. Sunil Gavaskar of India against England at the Oval. Bill Hedridge, the former England batsman, did it against South Africa at Durban. And here comes Kyle Mayers. And I think this bloke really deserves a lot of credit. As I said, nobody would have contemplated that Bangladesh will go on to make this victory. 285 runs to get. They were set a target of 395 runs to win, 285 runs to get on the final day. And as you know, on a final day, it's not easy. The ball was spitting, the ball was turning, the ball was bouncing. And you know, the Bangladesh spinners were bowling. They were quality bowlers. Taijul Islam especially is a quality bowler. Marius and Miraj have taken 4 wickets, as you remember, in the first innings. And one would have never ever thought that West Indies would go on to win this particular test match. And as I said, they have really done the impossible. It's only thanks to Cranmer. Let us not take any credit away from another player as well. Kruma Bonner on his debut, making 86 and forging a double century partnership with Kyle Mayers. And in the past, I am told there was only one pair which has actually done it on debut, putting on a double century partnership. That was way back in 1964 when Pakistan players Khalid Ibadullah and Abdul Qadir did it against Australia in 1964. And really, I'm telling you, and also let's not forget that Lawrence Rowe also scored a double century on debut against New Zealand, but probably scored in the first innings. So Kyle Mayers did it in the second day. That's the only difference. And really has to say, I have to doff my hat to this player, Kyle Mayers. And I'm sure people have been absolutely surprised when they read that Kyle and West Indies had won this particular test match. And this is the biggest chase by a touring team in Asia. The previous best was Sri Lanka chasing 391 in Zimbabwe. And again, I think 391 for 6 was what Sri Lanka chased against Zimbabwe in Colombo. And now West Indies have done it in Bangladesh against Bangladesh. And as I said, Bangladesh would have been totally stunned. As if you look at the 4 days, Bangladesh dominated all the 4 days play, whether it be with bat or ball. But they never ever could have contemplated that Kyle Mayers would be the one who would be going to make history here. And George Headley has the highest score for a cricketer on Test debut for the West Indies with 223. And I have to say, this has been a superb exhibition of batting. As I said on the last day, it's not easy. The ball is turning and bouncing, and you have to show good technique. Yes, Kyle Mayers definitely had his moments where probably one could have said he was a trifle lucky as well, with lot of appeals being going on. And also looking at 61 runs were required in the last hour, and Kyle Mayers showed is another dimension of the game as he started cracking sixes. As he made a determination, and I'm told the 7 sixes that has been hit by Mayers on his Test debut is just the second highest after Tim Southee for New Zealand, I think against England, if I'm not wrong. And also, I just don't have words to say. As I said, it has really left Bangladesh stunned, and now this man would be someone who would be reckoned with. And definitely, this is what this West Indies team has shown, that if you have the determination, I think they are definitely showing what India showed in Australia with that third string team. And here comes West Indies with a second string team, pulling off the impossible, thanks to only one man, Kyle Mayers, and the other person on Test debut, not taking any credit away from his knock as well. 86 on the last day of a pitch, which was turning and bouncing. Absolutely great. As I said, there are no words to describe this. It's simply brilliant stuff, this. So, as I said, it was Kyle Mayers and Kumar Bonner putting on a double century partnership. They joined hands at 59 for 3 when Shane Mosley was out, and they took the score on to 275. So that gives you an inkling at 216 runs were added by this pair of Kumar Bonner, who made 86 with 10 fours and 1 6. But Kyle Mayers was there till the end, piloting the West Indians to victory. 210 occupied, 310 balls, 20 fours and 7 sixes. And he had a good game. I mean, he was really very cutting well, pulling well, and he also swept the spinners as well. And it looks to be a real talent there, Kyle Mayers. Jermaine Blackwood made 9. Joshua De Silva making 20. Everybody contributed. Kemar Roche was out for not wrecking Cornwall. But it was, as I said, it showed a different dimension of his game in the final analysis when 61 runs were required in the last hour. If you look at it, West Indies did this with only, I think, 15 balls. Let us have a look at that just to make sure what really happened. And I think they just did it with probably very little overs to spare, and that's what I'm precisely looking at. Absolute impossible has been pulled off by Kyle Mayers. I mean, it has been something real history which has been made. I think there were probably another 3 overs to go, I reckon, in the 20 mandatory overs, and it has been pulled off by the West Indies. Absolutely great. And the player of the match, I mean, no prizes for guessing. It was Kyle Mayers with 210 not out, a capital innings at that. And the bowling, if you look at that, everything has gone in vain for Bangladesh. Maiden and Miraj picking up probably 8 wickets in the match and also going on to make his maiden test turn, absolutely going in vain. And as I said, Bangladesh would be absolutely in a state of shock here after Kyle Mayers has done this to them. And also Kyle Mayers did not make any difference who bowled to him, whether it was Mustafizur Rahman, whether it was Taijul Islam, whether it was Mehdi Hassan Miraj, or it was Naeem Hassan. The ball was disappearing over the rope in the last hour for sixes. 2 wickets for 91 for Taijul Islam, Mehdi Hassan Miraj 4 for 113, and it's all over. So that's the precise reason, dear fans and subscribers. I started off with this bang, with a real bang in this Cricket Happening show, and that was about Kyle Mayers, 210 not out, taking them and giving them a 1-0 lead in the 2-test series against Bangladesh. Now, one thing that one could probably think of, Mominul Haq declared the innings closed at 223 for 8 declared in the second innings, setting the West Indies a target of 395. I thought it was declaration, but probably Mominul Haq wanted to make sure that they had enough time to bowl out the West Indies, which was still a good thing. But probably he would be thinking whether he could have still stretched the innings there these are ifs and buts, but what an innings from Kyle Mayers. As a test debutant coming and making a double century is something just out of the book here. And okay, so next thing, so from here we go on to the match between India and England. India and England, well, England definitely on the ascendant, no doubt about it. India are still trailing by 321 runs. Yesterday, it was India decided that they still won't take the second new ball. They decided to really have a go at the tailenders by trying to see whether they could dismiss. But I thought the tail wagged a bit there before Bumrah had Dom Bess LBW for 34 with 6 boundaries. And Jack Leach was not on 14. Anderson was clean bowled by Ashwin after the new ball was taken. 578 all out England with 3 wickets apiece to Jasprit Bumrah, Ravichandran Ashwin, and 2 wickets apiece to Shahbaz Nadeem and Ishan Sharma. Now, India in reply definitely wouldn't say it's a very good score. It's only 257 thanks to an attacking innings from Rishabh Pant, cracking 91, really taking the attack to the rivals' camp as he normally does. Definitely, Rishabh Pant saw that the ball was really turning out of the rough, and he decided that he would be reeling after the bowlers, and especially he targeted Jack Leach, the left-arm spinner, for probably many sixes in his knock, where it included his knock of 91, included of 88 balls, absolute one-day stuff there, 9 fours and 5 sixes, and Rishabh Pant was brilliant. And gave him company was Cheteshwar Pujara, also turning on a bit of aggression there with 73, 11 boundaries. That was the partnership which really got the Indians going, because Indians were really in a bit of a hole there, not a bit of a hole, a big hole, considering that England had scored 578. There was 73 for 4, but a big partnership ensued after Rishabh Pant really started taking on the England bowlers. And also, if you look at Rishabh Pant's innings, he was very watchful against Dom Bess, right-arm off spinner. He did not take much chances, but Jack Leach, he trusted himself and gave him a real whack. As far as Dom Bess was concerned, he really bided his time to have a very good look at Dom Bess and was a bit careful when actually playing Dom Bess, which was the right approach as well. Now, if you look at the batting card from the Indians, the opening, Rohit Sharma was scalped pretty quickly. Archer delivering a beautiful leg cutter, and Butler behind the stumps doing the rest. The ball just moving, kissing the edge of the bat of Rohit Sharma, nestling into the hands of Butler. And that was the end of Rohit Sharma, for which Shubman Gill played some superb strokes, as he's known for after I once saw him in Australia. What a wonderful stroke player he is when he's really stroking the ball. He's an absolute song there. But he was a victim of the bowling of Archer. Now, Shubman Gill, as you know, he on-drives the ball very well, but Archer probably rolled his fingers over on that particular delivery, probably a bit slow under the circumstances, and I think Shubman Gill was committed to he was trying to on-drive that delivery, but in the context, he actually got the ball to spoon up, and Anderson picking up a good catch, I thought, in the cow point region, absolutely inches before it hit the turf. And as I said, Virat Kohli was a victim of the bowling of Dom Bess pretty quickly. Some turn and sharp bounce as Virat Kohli came forward. In fact, not forward, he basically had it a sort of a waft at it. And the inside edge went into the short leg fielder. Pope took the catch, and Virat Kohli was a big wicket as caught Pope bowled Bess for 11. After that, Rahane was a victim of the bowling of Bess. Now, this was a one-handed catch, a stunning catch at that, one could say, in the short cover region. It was, and this was not a ball which should have. It was a full toss delivery from the right arm offie, Bess, but there was a bit of dip into that, and Rahane scooped the ball up, and it was the catch was taken by Joe Root, a brilliant catch at the short cover region. Well done there, Joe Root. And so after that, as I said, Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara had to take over. Pujara was absolutely circumspect in the initial, but when Pant started punching the bowlers with the weight that he normally has, Cheteshwar Pujara also joined in, and the partnership began very exciting and started really taking India from a really big hole at 73 for 4. And at 192, Cheteshwar Pujara's wicket was taken by Bess. Best taking 4 wickets there. He made 73 with 11 boundaries as it was Burns. Now, this was a sort of a ricochet, one could say, as it was a rebound. It was short leg. Pope actually ducking under it, and actually of a rebound from the shoulder of Pope actually ducking at short leg, and he was gone. And then at the final analysis, Rishabh Pant, after making 91, succumbed to the bowling of Bess. He came down the track as he normally does, and he found a deep cover clinging on to the catch Leach. And what an innings. Again, Rishabh Pant, as happened in Australia, missing his century, but definitely playing for the team, one could say. 91 of 88 balls, 9 fours and 5 sixes. And in the end, it was Washington Sundar once again showing that determination that he showed in Australia. Not out on 33 with 5 boundaries. Ravichandran Ashwin was not out on 8. As India closed the day at 257 for 6. Again, India still have 378 to make to avoid the follow-on, but they are definitely 378. So they still have some way to go here, as India is almost coming to the tail now, with Bumrah, Ishant Sharma and Nadeem only to come. If this pair, Washington Sundar and Ravichandran Ashwin, can stretch the innings to whatever extent they can, that would help them. But but England definitely on the ascendancy. India are trailing by 321 runs going into the 4th day of this particular match. James Anderson did his job, none for 34, 2 for 52 for Jofra Archer, and Dom Bess 455 did well. Leach got a real tap from the bat of Rishabh Pant, 70 overs, 2 minutes, none for 94. Stokes none for 16, and Root bowled 1 over 1 run. Now we turn our attention on to Pakistan, where we are like how the Bangladesh and West Indies test went into a cracker of a final day, where Kyle Mayers pulled out the chestnuts out of the fire, as we call it. But here we are talking about Pakistan versus South Africa, which is also building into a very, very exciting tussle as the final day approaches, as South Africa closed the day chasing 370 runs by Pakistan to win the test match, to level the series. The South Africans were 127 for 1. They require another 243 runs on the morrow, that is on the final day, and it is as good as what happened between Bangladesh and West Indies. So are we going to have some sort of another record being written in Test history, as 243 runs separate South Africa from victory against Pakistan? So looking at the Pakistan card, is they resumed at their overnight score of whatever it was. They were bowled out for 298. Mohammad Rizwan, what a player. I mean, this is the best thing to happen for Pakistan, one could say, with Mohammad Rizwan coming in and making a wonderful century. His maiden test, and he truly, truly deserved it. And as you know, we have seen how he played against New Zealand, and this is a quality player that Pakistan has now. The wicketkeeper batsman, Mohammad Rizwan, what a knock from him. He was unbeaten on 115 boundaries in that absolutely attractive innings. And Rizwan, as you know, is very, very strong on the pull shot. He feeds on the cut shot and the pull shot, and he can also play a lot of unorthodox strokes as well. And he keeps the scoreboard moving. He's a wonderful player. He's an absolute player for the future for Pakistan, no doubt about it. After that, we saw Yasir Shah giving him company with 23. Norman Ali shooting skills once again, and Norman Ali also contributed. In fact, he included 6 fours and 2 sixes. Very good batting, but as I said, Mohammad Rizwan absolutely stole the show there with his innings, 298, which enabled the Pakistanis to actually set a target of 370 runs to win for South Africa going into the final day. But I'll come to that. Looking at the bowling, George Lindy, a very nice bowling action, tall guy, even though he had his webbing in his right hand and his finger. I thought he bowled excellently. Returning analysis, I'm sure this is his first 5-wicket haul in Test cricket. 26 overs, 9 maidens, 64 runs and 5 wickets. George Lindy, superb bowling from George Lindy, turning the ball, bouncing it, and Keshav Maharaj 3 for 118. An able foil for him. Kagish Rabada 2 for 34. Now, looking at South Africa, who closed the day at 127 for 1. They lost Dean Elgar for 17, caught by Mohammad Rizwan. And it was basically, absolutely a nothing delivery because the ball was probably wide of the off stump. It was Dean Elgar who had a swing at it, and the result was a dismissal, caught by Mohammad Rizwan of the bowling of Shaheen Shah Afridi for 17 with 4 boundaries, and absolutely a careless stroke played by Dean Elgar under the circumstances. And then it was Aiden Markram absolutely showing his class with his strokes, walking to the spinners, putting his feet absolutely down to the spinners and whacking them. And Aiden Markram played some very, very good pleasing strokes as he on an unbeaten 59 with 9 fours and 2 sixes towards the close. Giving him company was Rassie van der Dussen, who's going on to another 50 there. He was not out on 48. It was a stroke-filled innings with 8 boundaries in that, as South Africa closed the day at 127 for 1. 243 runs still required on the final day to go and level the series, and it can't be discounted. There is some variable bounce of the pitch. The ball probably is not turning as alarmingly as what one could have expected it to be, but on the final day, one has to wait and watch. It will still be proving a threat. Well, let's understand, with 243 runs separating South Africa, they have all the 9 wickets standing intact. There's a lot of batting still to come, and Aiden Markram and Rassie van der Dussen has to really prolong the innings to really see to it that South Africa go and defeat Pakistan in the second test match to level the series. The bowling, Afridi, the lone wicket taker, 1 for 22. Now, let's have a look at some cricket news. So that is as far as the cricket matches were concerned. In that particular day, 3 matches. And as I said, Kyle Mayer's absolutely taking the cake today for his brilliant innings. And other than that, some news coming in. Pollard, Holder and Nareen will be playing in the West Indies Super 50. That's another news coming in. I'm just going to see that Ashton Agar, as you know, was named the T20 Cricketer of the Year in Australia yesterday for basically the not going for him because of his 5-wicket bag that he took in that, I think in the T20 match or T20 match of the year. And let's talk about some very important thing before I go, and that is Abu Dhabi. We are talking about the T10 League, which happened between Nicholas Purran, who was captaining the Northern Warriors team, and Dwayne Bravo. He was pitched against Dwayne Bravo's Delhi Bulls, but it was Purran's team. Nicholas Purran, the young captain, getting a victory under his belt as the Delhi Bulls. They beat them by 81 for 9. Some good bowling. Looking at the card there, doesn't make any much good reading. Gurbaz was out for 9 for 13. Evan Lewis cracked some sixes, 10 of 5 deliveries. And Mohammad Nabi making 21 of 10, 1 4, 2 sixes. Not much to really talk about. All single-digit figures. 81 for 9 was what the Delhi Bulls put on the board. Good bowling from the 3 for 14 from Sri Lankan spinner Mahesh Dikshana. 2 for 14 Dhananjay Rakshan. And then it was the turn of the Northern Warriors, Nicholas Purran taking it upon himself, coming as an opener, but not really getting much of the bat. Fiddle Edwards, the man who's definitely wanting to come out of retirement, and he has also said that he wants to join the West Indies cricket team. He definitely shown that age does not wither anyone's pace, as he really gave a tough time to Nicholas Purran, hitting him on his anatomy. And Nicholas Purran actually got the better of him when he sent him soaring for a 6 as well. Wasim Mohammed was the another one. As you know, he's another big thing to happen. We have seen Wasim Mohammed's batting in the T10 League in that blistering 13-ball half-century that he hit to equal Chris Gale's record. Wasim Mohammed is another player for the future. 27 of 22 balls, 3 fours and 1 6. Lendl Simmons was not out on 14. Roman Paul not out on 16, taking them to victory. It was an 8-wicket victory for the Northern Warriors. Nicholas Purran captaining his troops beautifully. And that was the end of it. Fiddle Edwards, as I said, is someone who's wanting to come back to active cricket now. So definitely it's Mahesh Dikshana was named player of the match, and the T10 League came to an end in Abu Dhabi. Well, dear fans and subscribers, absolutely pleasure bringing you. And as I said, this particular cricket happening show all goes, it was all about Kyle Mayers. Man, remember that name, Bangladesh. Remember that name, Kyle Mayer's double century on Test debut, taking the West Indians to victory, and West Indians scripting history against Bangladesh in Bangladesh. That's it from me, your host Ram, for this cricket show, and look forward to your company once again, probably in the next week, I would say, in the probably Saturday or Sunday. As you know, I normally, as I said, again, I'm telling you everybody, go on to your, I'm very active on cricket. You can look at my blogs there. You can go on to my Twitter page, my cricket website, www.cricket-status.com. YouTube is something where I come for the... But definitely looking forward to all your company once again. And definitely I'm looking forward to some great company from you all on my cricket platforms. Thanks for your cooperation as always. This is your host Ram, signing off on a Sunday, absolutely doffing my hat to that man in the West Indies, the man on Test debut, Kyle Mayers. Thank you.